Hello and welcome to the lesson. Today we're going to take a closer look at the get and post methods, and we'll learn how and when to use each of them. I'll also demonstrate some practical examples. Here's the completed form we worked with in the previous lesson. The processing method is set to get. When I click on the Submit button, the values entered into the form will be transmitted as document address parameters. We can see what that looks like here in the address bar. The string with the parameters starts with a question mark. Next, we can see the name of the form field, the equal sign, and the inputted value, and finally, an ampersand. The ampersand is there to separate individual parameters. Notice that all spaces have been replaced by the plus sign. Now I'll try to change the value of the first parameter in the address bar. For example, I'll overwrite the destination name to Yellowstone National Park. I'll also delete the value of the last parameter. Finally, I'll confirm the changes in the address bar by pressing the Enter key. We see that the name of the destination has changed and the commentary has disappeared completely. Now I'll maximize the browser window and open the website in a new tab. Using the Inspect Element function, we learned that Google processes the search form values through the get method. I'll write New York into the text field and click the Search button. When we look at the address bar, we see the large number of different parameters that Google uses. First, we'll focus on the Q parameter. Parameter values always consist of the current search phrase. In our case, it's New York. Now I'll rewrite the value to Las Vegas and press the Enter key. We can see that the change in the address bar is also reflected in the page and that Google has displayed new search results. Next, we'll look at the HL parameter, which stands for host language. Using this parameter, we can easily change the language. I'll try to set it to Spanish instead of English. To do that, I'll change the value from EN to ES and confirm the change by pressing the Enter key. We can see that not only did the interface language change, but new results have been loaded, this time in Spanish. It's handy to know that you can use Google for more than just searching. It's also convenient for various mathematical operations. I'm now going to type a simple division task into the text field and submit it to the server. Because Google uses the get method, the whole task was sent as part of the address. Looking closer, we can see that the division sign has been replaced by a short string that starts with the % sign. This sign means the beginning of a hexadecimal notation in URL. Next, hexadecimal code 2F follows. If we now run character map, we can see that the slash symbol corresponds with the hexadecimal code of 2F. But what's the reason that it works like this? The slash symbol is normally used to separate parts of an address. If the browser didn't replace slash symbols with their hexadecimal equivalents, errors could possibly occur. In the previous examples, we have seen the get method used in combination with forms. However, this method is also used by the HTTP protocol to obtain websites or their parts. Additional parameters that can be processed by the website can be entered manually into the address bar. For instance, we can use this to search for files of a certain type. How does it work? First, I'll enter my search phrase into the form field and submit it. Now I'm going to add a new parameter called asFileType, which literally works as a file type filter. I'd like to find an already finished presentation on Niagara Falls. I'll set the attribute value to PPT and again confirm the change by pressing the Enter key. We can see that the search results are now limited to presentations. Remember that besides being used in forms, the get method is often used in HTTP requests. Now we'll demonstrate how the post method works. I'll load up a page with a form resembling a login to some web service. We can see a field for the username, a password field, and also a login button. This time the form is using the post method. Now I'll enter the username and the password and click the login button. If we look in the address bar after we've logged in, we see that it doesn't contain any parameters. It's not always good for the data to be clearly visible in the address bar. If I used the get method, everyone would be able to read my login information after processing the form. With the POST method, however, data is transferred as part of the HTTP headers, which are hidden from other users. How do we track these headers? First, I'll open the Developer Tools by using a keyboard shortcut. Next, I'll click on the Network tab and refresh the browser. Data transmitted through the POST method are resent on each refresh. I have no problem with that, so I'll confirm the warning dialog. I'll switch to the Headers tab by clicking on the file name. If we look at the Form Data section, we can view the values that I have entered. The POST method doesn't apply any sort of encryption to the data. It's just a little harder to actually get to them. In a new tab, I'll now open the gmail.com website. If I use the Inspect Element function to view the source code of the login form, I can see that Google also uses the POST method to transmit non-public information. For security reasons, the HTTPS protocol is used, thanks to which all communication is encrypted. Another example of the advantages of this method can be seen when transmitting large amounts of data. Unlike the GET method, the POST method doesn't limit the volume of transmitted data. However, in most cases, the GET method is more suitable. With that method, a web page can be bookmarked in its current state. In this lesson, we reviewed the two basic methods of the HTTP protocol and have also learned how to work with them. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you at the next lesson.